Wow, what a win. You thought that they weren't going to do it, but they snatched that victory from the jaws of defeat. As we welcome you here to Sixers Postgame Live, proudly brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Amy Fiddle, Jim Lynam, Mark Jackson taking you all the way through this one. It's the 11th straight win for the Sixers at home. That is nothing short of impressive, considering especially how this one you thought was going to go. They were down 4 points with, 40 seconds to go, Jim?
Yeah, Indiana played a massive fourth quarter, Aim. But the irony, when I say you can't make this stuff up, how about James Harden, a sensational clutch foul shooter, misses 2 free throws in a 1-point game, only to go the other way and have a game-saving block shot. Figure that one.
He's an 88% free throw shooter this season. His career is usually right around there, closer to 90 some years. He misses both, comes up with that block, but they had a really good defensive effort, I thought, at the very end of regulation, too.
They did, Amy. The action was fast. The face was furious, and this is crazy. But, you know, James Harden, Coach, let's just be honest. James Harden wants to be a fan favorite. I know Max is laying his ball up right here, but he might have been trying to give everybody free chicken because of the Chick-fil-A special. But anyway.
You never really know what he's going to do out there. But this was
and a great defensive play there.
If you told me on your bingo card you would have James Harden defensive effort rather than offensive effort, I would have said you're not going to win bingo. But it turns out you did have that on your card because the Sixers did get the win. They turned over Tyrese Halliburton, a guy who only has about 2.5 turnovers a game on average, and he averages over 10 assists. What about that defensive effort was maybe more impressive to you, Jim?
Well, Maxi's steal was nothing short of sensational. It was a 4-point game when he stole it and went the length of the court. And then you got to give Harden credit on the next play, his steal when what's his name is trying to drive the ball to the goal. Harden, like Halliburton, is a tough guy to keep in front. But what James did is he pursued from behind and knocked the ball loose. Big-time play. Yeah,
really big-time play. Harden with a couple really good defensive stops to make up for maybe those free throws, which I'm sure he's going to remember for quite a while. But let's check out our Colonial Nissan Game Changer. It is that extra session. Thanks to that 4-point swing with about 40 seconds to go, they got the extra period. And you're seeing some really good. This maybe was the best game, certainly in the Sixers uniform, but in a while that we've seen from Montrezl Harrell, Mark.
Listen, Amy, I've been preaching his praises since the beginning of the season. This is nothing new for Montrezl. This is what he does when he gets ample minutes. And I'm just happy he got ample minutes to come back to do this tonight.
So Montrezl Harrell, this is kind of one of his throwback games when he was winning Sixth Man of the Year, I think, with the Clips.
Yeah, that's a good point, Aim. And he did it at both ends of the court. He was a monster on the board, particularly the offensive board, not just securing rebounds, but then in traffic, taking it back up and dunking balls.
And he had, I think, 5 blocks on the night.
Wow.
Just give me that.
And it was the time of them, too, Mark. I mean, some of them coming really late in the games and late in possessions for the Sixers.
Bricking for chicken. But you know what? Montrezl did his thing, but James Harden had an overall good game. I know he gonna think about these foul shots right here, but then you come right here on this side of the floor and make up for it.
Here it is, block shot from behind.
It's absolutely a block shot. This is another look at that one. And it looks like a great dump pass there, but he did not realize that James Harden was trailing him like that.
He might have knew it, Amy, but he just didn't know he was a great shot blocker.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. A very interesting shot to put up from Buddy Hield. We know that he's a really good three-point shooter, but that was pretty far away.
I got news for you. When there was three seconds and change, okay? That's not a good shot to get off. So therefore, credit the Sixer defense. Obviously, Indiana had drawn up a play. The Sixers took them out of it, and that's a desperation heave from like 35 feet.
It's one of the more complete games, and I feel like I've said this the last couple of games. We saw it against the Pelicans. They had to be good on both ends of the court. You're seeing that now at times, especially on a night where no Joel Embiid. How impressive more so is that defensive effort to you?
The defense is there, Amy. The defense and the two things that stood out to me tonight by the 76ers, their defensive effort and the ball movement. That ball was like a hot potato, and it just moved the Pacers' defense. And then we have so many guys that stepped up. But I think those 2 things stood out to me the most.
Well, Montrezl Harrell with a season-high 19 points. Here he is with Kate Scott and Ala Abdinabi.
Montrezl, the monster Harrell, doing a little bit of everything out there tonight, Trez. You were on fire from the get-go. What was your mindset coming into this one tonight?
Just coming in ready to pick up the slack from my big fella, coming in ready to play. I bring energy. I play as hard as I can, man, and, just playing the right way, my teammates, feed off of it. We had a couple of up and down lapses throughout the Florida game, but I think I came in with the right mindset, right energy, and my teammates fed off of it.
You were the consummate pro because, again, coming into the game, JoJo's not going to play. PJ's your starter. He goes down, and you probably play more minutes than you expected. But tell me about your mindset, knowing that anything can happen, and you've got to be ready as a vet.
Honestly, it's just, exactly what you said. I'm best friends with a lot of guys in this league, man, a lot of vets, Lou Williams, Trevor Ariza. KJ McDaniels is like one of my best friends, man, and we always got a saying, man, you stay ready, you never got to get ready. So I do all the little work, behind the scenes, get my ones in with Coach J Love and, using my trainers out here and constantly just staying in shape. I'm always working on my game. It's a knack that I have that I take all throughout the summer when I go around playing and stuff like that. So this isn't nothing new for me, really.
Well, Montrezl, you provided us with so many highlight plays tonight, but I think my favorite might have been the two-handed, two-armed block you got up so high. What were you thinking as the rookie, Benedict Mathurin's coming at you in overtime?
I know he's an explosive player, man. He likes to attack the rim pretty hard, but, James definitely put him in a tough spot with, standing on his hip, and I just try to, come there and clean up just like our big fella would do if he was here, man. He is a, absolute force in that defensive end when keeping guys out of the paint, so I just try to pick up the slack from that. Go ahead.
No, the second unit was huge in that first quarter, second quarter. Tell me about how important it is for you to get to where you want to as a unit to have that second unit contribute like they did.
We really just got to keep building, honestly. We never know who's really going to be in that lineup in that second unit, but like I tell people all the time, man, we're just one of those teams that constantly keep working, keep trying to keep building on what we got, man, and keep trying to make it work for us.
Well, it worked tonight, Montrezl. Season high, 8 made field goals, season high, 19 points. Thanks for taking the time, man. We'll see you on Friday.
Thank you.
All right, you can see Montrezl Harrell enjoying his time in the spotlight after that 19 points. Got Franklin signing the game ball there. And here's a guy you can see, you saw that energy from him after some of those blocks and that big dunk, that putback jump. A game like this, as he said, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Mm-hmm. For a guy that's been putting in the work and that's been playing sometimes limited, no minutes at all, to have this game and have this ability to kind of, enjoy with the fans and enjoy in front of the home crowd. What does that mean, Mark?
It means a lot. He's a veteran. He's always stayed ready, even though they was splitting his minutes between him and Reed, which is frustrating me as a player that's I've been in that same role as Montrezl pretty much my whole entire career in the NBA. And it's like, give me my minutes. Like, I earn them, but, until then, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just going to do what I do, which is work my tail off when nobody's looking. So when I get the minutes I think I deserve or I've taken, I'm going to dominate with it. I'm going to do good things. He's been running up for $6 million a year for countless amount of years. Mm-hmm. This is not a fluke, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to be like, oh, he had a good game. This is him. As the young kids say today, he is him.
He is him. He certainly was on this night. But, Jimmy, you're looking at a night where no Joel Embiid. You need players to step up. And a guy like Montrezl Harrell might have surprised some people because they have seen him in some limited roles. But he is that guy. He can be that guy. So when everybody's still questioning, what are you going to do with the backup center? Is Montrezl Harrell your first choice now?
Well, I would say he certainly laid claim to it with this performance, Aim. But I'm going to have to say this, that I've watched Montrezl play also, and I agree with Mark on one part, that his offensive ability, he's done that since he's been in the league. But that defense we just watched, he played 28 minutes and blocked 4 shots. Are you serious? I mean, no, he doesn't do that on a nightly basis. So if he can do anything close to that at the defensive end of the court, my guess is he'll lay claim to that backup center spot.
Hope he certainly has a very good tape to put on his resume reel. Let's check out our Yingling Presents Lager Up. And the bench was obviously a little bit shorthanded given the fact there was no Joel Embiid, but 48 bench points from 4 guys. 48, Mark.
Listen. Now, I'm gonna bring this up, though. Even though I didn't play a lot of minutes, we talk about Montrezl. Somebody, I forgot her name, came at me on Instagram and Twitter. It's like, look, I'm coming at you. Y'all don't talk enough about Shake Milton. And I'm going to say it again. Ma'am, I forgot your name, but you are absolutely right. We don't. Shake in limited minutes always produces something. And I don't know what he did tonight because I didn't look at his numbers, but he's always producing. With that being said, Doc Rivers reaching down his bench and saying, listen, eeny, meeny, miny, your turn, and they get in and produce. That says a lot about this 76ers brass and these role players.
Yeah, I mean, this is at one point, Jim, we were talking about it. At halftime, they were 11 of 12, the bench was, and they finished 14 of 19. Montrezl Harrell was perfect at one point. He missed just 1 shot. So when you have that kind of efficiency, that's why you know you're going to have a good night.
Yeah, and to Mark's point, I just looked down. Shake Milton well, there they are right there, the numbers.
Boom.
There you go, 5 or 6.
So we're giving Shake his flowers, ladies and gentlemen. All right? I like the act, though. Hold me accountable.
Listen,
You're absolutely right.
You guys have been preaching Shake Milton since he was doing the starting lineup thing, talking about he's going to get cha-ching paid. So it's not like he's been flying under the radar here on Sixers Postgame Live. But this bench, this might be one of the better benches scoring-wise that we've seen, and we needed to see that if you're looking at the Sixers. Go ahead, Mark.
But let's rewind to the beginning of the year. People was questioning this bench. And I told y'all then to slow it down, because they're going to be there. Give me my, you know what I mean? I told you, right? You believe me now? Okay, you owe me dinner.
He did say that. He said, I think he did quote Aaron Rodgers, he said, relax, because they did need time to gel together. And obviously, when you think about it, DeAnthony Melton has been in the starting role for large chunks of this. You can throw him into that bench. He had to start tonight, obviously, with no Joel Embiid, and they went 3 guards with P.J. Tucker and Tobias Harris. He's a bench guy, too.
Yeah, we've used the term, I think it applies both to Melton and to Tobias Harris. They adapt. They're very adaptable to the situation. Melton as a starter in the absence of, let's say, a top guy, no problem. Doc opted to use him in that 3-guard lineup. Very, very effective.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about DeAnthony Melton coming up because he had some really big defensive efforts and offensive efforts with a big 3. But yeah, you hear it. For the 11th straight time here at home, we're playing Clap Your Hands.
What's this perspective?
It's the only perspective I can give you. but anyway.
You see them like this on both ends of the floor. How was that for you?
It was great because you saw it. It was one of those games, that it was almost out of control with the way everybody was playing. Pick and rolls, running, spacing, grinding, exhausted. We pulled out to win. So you'll take that. We did a couple of good things down the stretch. I was so happy for Tyrese, just getting his legs, playing big minutes tonight. I think all those things were good.
What about the Montrezl gave you guys tonight?
He was great. We talk about being a star in your role every night, right? And he did exactly what his role said he should do. Be the low man on defense. And we talked about that all film because they're so quick. They're going to beat you off the dribble. And if the low man's not there, they're going to make layups. And I thought Trez got a charge, 4 blocks. He was there all night. And then we X'd out for him. So I was really happy with the way he played. And he just has great hands. Like, James really trusts. When he rolls, he comes up with the ball. And that's good for us.
And just the unit as a whole, should Shake at double digits. I think George did.
Yeah, really, it was a lot of guys, 7 guys in double digits. I thought Shake, his numbers won't say it in some ways. I thought his minutes were huge tonight because he stayed aggressive. And that's what we got to keep our guys doing. You have James Harden on the floor, and he has the ball a lot. And tonight we're like, no, at the end of the game, we put the ball in Tyrese's hands. The one stretch with James on the floor, we had Shake with it. We have guards that can handle an attack, and we want them all doing it. And I thought tonight was a good sign because I thought they all did it.
Doc, there were a number of possessions down the stretch in the fourth quarter and overtime where Indiana tried to get James up on Halliburton with the switch, and he took care of business. What did you see there?
It was good. Even the last one where, I don't want to say, but, he stood in front of it. Guy gave him 3 moves with that same thing. And, finally he got there, but then Tyrese came from the weak side. So I thought, it was funny. The league is very much over-scouted. Like, you really know tendencies. And I thought tonight might have been our single best night of taking guys off their tendencies. Halliburton wants to go right. Buddy Hield wants to go left, and they did that. I thought that was really good. That helped us defensively.
What was the thought process behind playing the smaller lineup to start the game?
I just think the way they play with their speed, I thought we could match it. So that's why we went that way.
I'm assuming you went away from it late just because, Trez.
Well, Trez was just so good, and he was giving us help on both ends. So I just thought he was the right guy.
You mentioned Tyrese kind of getting rolling. What maybe gave you what showed it early on is that, okay?
Well, nothing. Honestly, he still didn't have his rhythm yet, but it's still coming. You could see that. He had a pick and roll late in the game where he came off and just passed the ball, and I was like, that is not what we call a pick and roll for, but it's coming. You can see it. It's coming. He'll be back very soon. Yeah, I think he got kneed in the thigh, calf. He got hit somewhere.
Now, you went with Matisse over Daniel House tonight. What was the thought process with that?
I've done that the last 2 or 3 games. I think Matisse is playing terrific defense, and it's really helped us. He's staying aggressive. Indiana was smart. They started trapping because they knew he was on the floor. That's why we had to get him off. But overall, he's been fantastic for us.
You've seen a lot of rookies have the poise that Mather did in the fourth quarter and overtime. But obviously, you guys come out on top of him. But
He's tough. Tim, he's tough. It's funny. It was at one point because they were really just hunting guys to ISO. And they kept using Halliburton and Hill, and I was like, anybody but that kid. His first step is dynamic. We saw him the first game, but watching him tonight, he's going to be special.
Tobias was looking to get downhill a lot.
Yeah.
A few big dunks, and obviously didn't have his best shooting that, but how helpful is it for him?
It's huge for us. I mean, we drew up that first play in overtime. He got there, but, Turner does what he does. I thought that was a hell of a block by him. But him going downhill was big for us.
It feels like James in general, not just tonight, over the last few weeks, has stepped it up on the defensive end of the floor.
Absolutely.
And his hands, just what have you seen out of him?
He's trying. He's playing harder, and he has to. When we talk about it as a group, not just with James, you can't all say you want to win, but don't want to do it on both ends. And James is doing that for us. Last 2 or 3 games, he's been great defensively, and that's what we need him to be.
You mentioned trapping. Just what do you take away from how you guys did against that?
We didn't handle it well at the beginning, but once we got the right guys out there, we scored twice and they took it off. So I think we handled it pretty well.
Do you expect Joel to be back by Friday?
I actually don't even know, Keith, honestly. I just knew he was missing the game tonight and literally didn't ask. So I can't even answer the question. Thanks, guys.
So at the end there, no update officially on Joel Embiid, but I want to go back to something that Doc Rivers said. He said a couple of really poignant things, but he said about Montrezl Harrell, you have to star in the role you're given. And that really is quintessential about exactly what Montrezl Harrell did tonight. Sometimes he's not given a role, Jim. Sometimes his role is very limited, but on a night where he was given a role, he really did shine in that.
Yeah, and I think you could see, Aim, he almost was shouting out that, this is what I'm capable of doing when Kate and Alla were interviewing him after the game. But it comes back to that pretty fundamental thing. I know we beat it to death. It's about PT, players lingo, playing time. To do your thing, you got to be out there on the court.
I mean, Mark, you've spoken about it because you've been in that role as a bench guy where sometimes you have nights where you're playing a lot and you're playing well, and then 2 nights later, you can't even get off the pine. How hard is it to get, as he says, stay ready so you don't have to get ready?
Ooh, Amy, you're preaching my words. Listen to me. You have to be, that's a mental game. You got to be mentally tough, mentally focused, and mentally disciplined to do what needs to be done for you to get minutes. And when you not get those minutes, do you sulk or cry in a corner? Or do you say, let me go put that work in? Me personally, I was a dog. I loved to work. I just enjoyed this game. I was addicted to the game. So I spent 4 or 5 hours working out. That's just was me. A lot of guys sometimes take it personal. It's a business. And respectfully, a lot of times, sometimes, as we call it a political game in the locker room, where it's about why we need to play him for certain reasons. But you have to know, if you can play, eventually you will get your number called. And when you get your number called, you got to come through. You got to provide. And then, when everybody sees what's going on behind closed doors and they say, why this guy playing? Then your minutes will come back up.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure mentally it's been very tough for him because it's his coach that coached him with the Clippers. It's not like it's a guy who doesn't know what Montrezl Harrell can do, Jim.
Yeah, I think another facet here, Aim, if you have a team with what you want to call real good depth, which the 76ers have, that means you have a lot of good players. And if everybody is healthy in a particular stretch, then somebody is going to get shortcut.